The ancient city of Azar stood frozen in time, a relic of a bygone era. Wind howled through crumbling buildings, echoing the whispers of the past. Dust filled the air, a shroud over forgotten grandeur and lost stories. The silence was heavy, broken only by the occasional scuttling of desert creatures, adding to the eerie atmosphere. It was a place of secrets, forgotten by the world and shrouded in mystery. And it was here, amidst the ruins, that a lone shadow danced, elusive and enigmatic. It was a fleeting thing, this shadow, barely seen but always felt. A wisp of darkness that clung to the edges of perception, always just out of reach. It moved with an unnatural fluidity, slipping between the crumbling walls and disappearing down narrow alleys like a ghost. No source could be found for it. No object to cast its shape, an enigma in the ruins. It was an enigma, a silent spectre haunting this forgotten city, a mystery unsolved. The people of the nearby villages spoke of the shadow in hushed tones, fearful and curious. Some said it was the spirit of the city itself, mourning its lost glory and forgotten past. Others whispered of a powerful jinn, bound to the ruins for some ancient transgression, a tale of caution. But whatever its true nature, the shadow remained an unsettling presence, a constant reminder of the mysteries that lay buried beneath the sands of time, waiting to be uncovered. Yasser, a young man with a thirst for adventure, had heard the tales. Drawn by curiosity and a sense of wonder, he journeyed to the forgotten city. He longed to uncover the truth behind the shadow, to unravel the secrets it held within its depths. He was not afraid. Instead, he felt a strange pull toward the mystery, a calling he could not ignore, no matter how hard he tried.
One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, I saw it. The shadow. It flickered between two crumbling walls, an impossible silhouette against the dying light. I knew danger lurked in the ruins, but I couldn't resist the allure of the unknown. Hesitation vanished. I decided to follow.
He moved cautiously through the ruins, his footsteps echoing in the silence. The air grew colder as he ventured deeper, a chill that seemed to seep from the very stones themselves. With each step, he felt a growing sense of unease, a prickling at the back of his neck. But still he pressed on, drawn forward by the shadow's silent beckoning. The shadow led Yasser on a winding path, its form flickering and shifting with each step he took. It was as if the shadow itself was alive, guiding him deeper into the unknown. He navigated through crumbling archways and past toppled pillars, the remnants of a once great civilization now reduced to ruins. Each fallen stone told a story of time's relentless march. Each turn led him further into the heart of the forgotten city, a place where history seemed to stand still, waiting to be rediscovered. The deeper he went, the more he felt the weight of the past pressing down on him. The alley narrowed, the walls closing in on him like a stone embrace. It was as if the city itself was testing his resolve, challenging him to continue despite the growing sense of claustrophobia. The air grew heavy, thick with the weight of centuries. Every breath he took was filled with the dust of ages, the scent of forgotten memories lingering in the air.
I noticed the silence was different here. It was a silence that seemed to have a life of its own, a quiet that spoke volumes. The desert wind, which had howled through the ruins at the city's edge, was absent. It was as if the wind itself dared not enter this sacred space. It was as though the very walls themselves were holding their breath, watching my every move. The sensation of being observed was almost palpable, a constant reminder of the city's ancient guardians. A shiver ran down my spine, yet I continued my pursuit, captivated by the shadow's dance. It moved with a grace that was both mesmerizing and unsettling, leading me deeper into the labyrinth.
He rounded a corner, and the alley opened into a small courtyard. The sudden openness was a stark contrast to the narrow confines of the alley, offering a brief respite. Moonlight spilled through a gaping hole in one wall, illuminating a crumbling fountain in the center. The light cast eerie shadows, making the ancient structure appear almost ghostly. The shadow paused here, swirling around the fountain's base. It seemed to be waiting, as if this place held some significance in its journey. Yasser's heart pounded in his chest, a drumbeat against the silence. The anticipation was almost unbearable, each moment stretching into eternity. He was close, he could feel it. The answers he sought were within reach, just beyond the veil of shadows. The shadow held the key to the city's secrets, and he was about to unlock them. The weight of this realization pressed down on him, filling him with a mix of fear and excitement.
The shadow moved silently, its presence both a guide and a guardian. It was as if it was leading him to a destiny that had been written long ago.
And so, the mystery deepened, layers upon layers of history and secrets unfolding before him, drawing Yasser further into the labyrinth of Azar, a place where the past and present intertwined in a dance of shadows and light, where secrets awaited to be unveiled, and the true nature of the city would finally be revealed. The journey was far from over, and Yasser knew that each step brought him closer to the heart of the mystery. The elders of his village had often spoken of a cursed book hidden within the ruins. They would gather around the fire, their voices hushed and eyes wide with fear, recounting tales of those who had sought the book and never returned. A book that contained the lost history of Azar, but also the key to its destruction. It was said to hold the secrets of the city's rise and fall, a chronicle of its glory and its doom. Legend said the book possessed a strange power, capable of blurring the line between the past and the present. Those who dared to read it would find themselves lost in time, unable to distinguish between what was and what is.
I had dismissed it as a mere fable, a story to frighten children. The kind of tale that parents tell to keep their kids from wandering too far from home. But now, standing in the shadow of the forgotten city, I began to wonder. The air was thick with an eerie silence, and the ruins seemed to whisper secrets of their own.
He recalled the elders' warnings. The book is both key and curse. They had spoken of its power to reveal the city's deepest secrets, but also of the terrible price it exacted from those who sought its knowledge. It reveals the city's secrets, but binds the reader to its fate. The book's glow was said to be mesmerizing, drawing in the curious and the brave, only to trap them in its pages forever. Their words echoed in his mind, a chilling counterpoint to the silence of the ruins. The city seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for him to make a choice.
I felt a tremor of fear, but it was quickly overtaken by a surge of excitement. The possibility of uncovering the lost history of Azar was too tempting to resist. Could this be the secret the shadow guarded? The thought sent a shiver down my spine, but I couldn't turn back now.
Yasser slowly approached the fountain, his eyes fixed on the swirling shadow. The air around it seemed to pulse with a life of its own, drawing him closer. As he drew closer, he noticed something lying at the base of the fountain, half hidden in the shadows. A book. It seemed to call out to him, its presence both ominous and inviting. It was bound in dark leather, its cover devoid of any markings. The simplicity of its appearance belied the power it was said to hold. A sense of foreboding washed over him as he reached out and touched the book's surface. The leather was smooth and cold, sending a chill through his fingertips. It was cold, unnaturally so, as if it had been pulled from the depths of a frozen sea. He hesitated for a moment, the weight of the elder's warnings heavy on his mind, but curiosity won out. He picked up the book, feeling its cold weight in his hands, and knew that his journey had only just begun. With trembling hands, Yasser lifted the book. It felt as though it was imbued with a weight far beyond its physical form, as if the very essence of time and history was embedded within its pages. It was heavier than it looked, and a faint humming emanated from its pages. The sound was almost musical, a haunting melody that seemed to resonate with the very core of his being. As he brushed away the dust, symbols began to glow on the cover, ancient script pulsing with a light that seemed to originate from within. The symbols were unlike anything he had ever seen, their intricate designs mesmerizing and otherworldly. The air grew colder, and the shadows around him deepened, twisting and contorting as if alive. They seemed to reach out towards him, their movements synchronized with the pulsating light of the book.
The script is unfamiliar, yet I can understand the words as if they are whispered directly into my mind. Each word seemed to carry a weight of its own, echoing in the recesses of his thoughts.
He opened the book, and a musty smell wafted from its pages, the scent of forgotten ages. It was a smell that spoke of long-lost secrets and ancient knowledge hidden away from the world for centuries. The words spoke of Azar, of its rise to glory and its tragic fall. They painted a vivid picture of a city that was once a beacon of magic and prosperity, now reduced to ruins and shadows. They told of a powerful sorcerer who had woven magic into the city's very foundations, imbuing it with life and prosperity. His magic was the lifeblood of the city, a force that sustained its people and its structures.
As I read, the city around me began to transform. The words seemed to come alive, their power seeping into the very fabric of reality. The crumbling buildings seemed to rebuild themselves, stone by stone, rising from the dust. It was as if time itself was reversing, the decay and ruin giving way to the splendor of a bygone era. The fountain before me flowed with crystal clear water, and the sound of laughter and music drifted on the air. It was a scene of pure joy and harmony, a stark contrast to the desolation that had once filled the city.
The forgotten city was awakening, but not to the life it once knew. There was an eerie quality to the revival, a sense that something was not quite right. This was something different, something born from the shadows themselves. The figures that emerged were not of flesh and blood, but of darkness and mist, their forms shifting and changing with every step. Yasser felt a chill run down his spine as he realized that the city was not just coming back to life, but was being reborn in a twisted, shadowy form. The once vibrant streets were now filled with an unsettling presence, a darkness that seemed to watch his every move. He knew that the book held the key to understanding this transformation, but also sensed that it was a double-edged sword. The power it contained was immense, but so were the dangers that came with it. With a heavy heart, Yasser closed the book and walked away, the shadows lingering at the edges of his vision. The city of Azar was awakening, but its future was shrouded in uncertainty and darkness.